In this lecture, we are going to learn about the operators which we can use on an array field in a document. We call it as array operators. Array operators in MongoDB allow you to manipulate and query arrays within your documents. Here, let me go ahead and let me clear the shell first. And in order to understand array operators, what I have done is I have created one new file called employee.json. There we have three employee objects with name, age, and skills property. If you see, this skills field is storing an array, and in that array we have some embedded documents. So what I'm going to do is, and let's also do one thing. Let's add a hobbies field for each of these. Let's copy it from here and let's set it for other documents also. Okay, so now for each employee document, we have name, age, skills, which is an array, and hobbies, which is also an array. Now I want to insert these three documents into a collection. So let me go ahead and let me copy this first. Let's go to MongoJS file. And before that, let me also save this employee file. Let's go to MongoJS file. Let's write insert many command. And here I'm going to create a new collection called employee or employees dot insert many. And to this insert many, we are going to pass the array which we have just copied. Now let me copy this command from here. Let's go ahead and let's paste it in Mongo shell. So in this e-shopping database, I want to create a new employees collection. And to that, we want to insert all these documents. Let's go ahead and let's press enter. And you will see three documents have been inserted. Let me go ahead and let me clear this shell. And let's say db.employees.find. And let's go ahead and let's query this employees collection. So here we have three documents. All right, now let me also open this employees.json file. Okay. So now let's say we want to filter all the employees from the employee collection where the employee has skill as designer. So for that, let's say db.employees.find. To that, let's pass the filter object. And how do we want to filter the employee document? By checking if that employee has skill as designer. So here, if I try to use this skill field here, and to this, if I assign designer, and if I go ahead and if I press enter, you see it is not returning us anything. That's because this skills is an array. And in that array, instead of having simple values like string values or number values, we have embedded documents. And that's why we cannot directly assign designer here, the skill name, to filter the documents. So what we will have to do is here we will have to access the name property of the skill documents. Okay, because this name property of the skill documents contains the skill value, whether it is designer, tester, or developer. So in order to filter all the documents where the skill is designer, we need to access the name property on this skills array. Now the skills is storing an array, but in this array we are storing embedded documents. Okay, so we can access the name property on the skills property. So when we say skills.name, it is going to return us the name of each of these skills. So what we can do is here we can say skill.name, and actually it is skills. So let's try with skills first. Let me show you that in this case also it is not going to work. As you can see, it has not returned anything. And now if I say skills.name, now it is going to filter all the documents where in the skills array, the name property of the skill object is assigned with this value designer. If I go ahead and if I press enter, all right, we have an error because as we have learned earlier, when we are using the dot notation, we must wrap this expression, this field within double quotes. Then only it will work. Otherwise, if we simply use dot, MongoDB will not recognize that. So now you can see it has returned us two documents where the skill of the employee includes designer. So for this employee, one of the skills is designer, and for the second employee, Michael Johnson, also one of the skills is designer. So I just wanted to show you this because I wanted to show you that if your array contains embedded documents and you want to use one of the fields of the embedded document for filtering, you can access it like this. So on the field name, you can access the property of the embedded document. So that is possible. All right, now let me go ahead and let me clear the shell first, and let's go to MongoDB operators documentation. And if I scroll down here, you will see that we have some array operators. So we have this all, we have size, and we have element match. So in this lecture, let's talk about this size operator and this all operator. And let's start with the size operator. So we can use size operator when we want to filter a document based on an array field with a specific size. So for example, in this employee documents, we have two array fields, skills and hobbies. Now both of these arrays fields for all the document contains two elements. The skills field also has two elements and the hobbies field also has two elements. So this is true for all three documents. Now before we talk about size operator, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I will add a new hobby to this employee John Doe. So here let's say db.employees.update1, and first we need to filter the document which we want to update. So I'm going to filter the document based on the name field, and here let's specify the name as John Doe. So I want to filter this document. There I want to update something. So for that we are going to pass a second argument. There we are going to use $set operator, and in there we are going to specify the field which we want to update. I want to update the hobbies field. Okay, and to that I'm going to assign a new hobbies array. So there I'm going to specify sports, I'm going to specify music, and let's add one more hobby, maybe reading. Okay, let me go ahead and let me press enter. So we have one syntax error. We need to close this curly brace also. And now you see the match count is 1 and modified count is 1. Now let's go ahead and let's query the employees collection without passing any filter. And now you will see for the first user, for John Doe, we have 3 hobbies. Okay. So now let's say I want to filter all the documents from the employees collection where the hobbies field size is 3. Basically, this hobbies field is storing an array. So I want to filter all the documents from the employees collection where the size of the hobbies field is 3. How can I do that? For that, we can use size operator. So again, we can use db.employees.find. To that, let's pass the filter object. In that filter object, we want to filter based on hobbies field. So let's specify that field name. And to that, we are going to assign an object. And in there, we are going to use $size operator. And here, we need to specify what should be the size of this hobbies field. Basically, what should be the size of this hobbies array. I'm going to say 3. And now when I press enter, it is going to return us only those documents where the size of the hobbies array is 3, where the hobbies array contains exactly 3 elements, not less than that, not more than that. In the same way, if I set the size to 2, in this case, it is going to return us all the elements where the hobbies array has a size of 2. So these two employee documents, there the hobbies array has size of 2. Okay, now the limitation with the size operator is you can only look for documents with specified size. You do not have an option to set greater than or less than size. So let's say, for example, if you want to filter all the documents where the size of the hobbies array is greater than 3, that is not possible. Or less than 3, that is also not possible. You will have to specify the exact size of the array for which you want to filter the documents. So this is one limitation we have in MongoDB with the size operator. So this was about size operator. Now let's take another use case. Let's say I want to filter all the employees where the hobbies is cooking and music. So we can do it very easily. What we can do is, again, we can say db.employees.find, and there we are going to use this hobbies array. And here we are going to specify that we want to find all the document where the hobbies array has both cooking and music as the hobbies. If I press enter, currently it is going to return us only one document. So this document has hobbies array where we have cooking and music. Now let me go ahead and let me add one more document. So I'm going to copy this document from here. Let me paste it here. Let's change the name to Mary Smith maybe. Okay, let's change the age to 32, but it does not matter. Let's keep the skills as developer and tester. Let's just change the levels. Okay, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the hobbies as cooking and music, but I'm going to change the order. So I'll put cooking after music. Now let me go ahead and let me insert this document in the collection. So db.employees.insert1, and to this insert one, let's pass that document. Let's close it and let's press enter. So that document has been inserted. If we say db.employees.find, it should return us 4 documents. And out of these 4 documents, you will see that for this employee, Jane Smith, she has cooking and music as her hobbies. And for this employee also, Mary Smith, for her also, she has the hobbies as music and cooking. So both of them has the same hobbies. Now if I go ahead and if I search for the employees whose hobbies has cooking and music, and if I press enter, it is still returning us a single document, because in this case the order in which we have specified the hobbies, the order in which the values are present in the array, that also matters. But my requirement is I want to filter all the employees whose hobbies includes cooking and music, no matter in which order it is present in the hobbies array. So we cannot filter it like this. And if you want to filter all the employees whose hobbies include cooking and music without worrying about the order in which it is mentioned in the hobbies array, we can use another operator called all. So let me clear the shell here first. Let's again use db.employee.find. There, let's specify the filter object. And in here, we want to filter the documents based on the hobbies field. So let's specify the field name first. To this, we are going to assign an array. And in that array, we are going to use $all operator. And to this, we are going to specify an array. And in that array, we are going to specify what values we want to look for. So here I want to look for cooking and I want to look for music. So what this all operator will do is it will look for all the documents which contains these two elements, cooking and music. It does not matter in which order they are present in the hobbies array. It is just going to look for these two elements, whether it is present in the array or not. If it is present, it is going to filter those documents. So now if I go ahead and if I press enter, now we should see 2 documents. So we should see Jane Smith and Mary Smith. So both of them has same hobbies. The only thing is in the hobbies array, the order of these hobbies are different. So in this way, we can use all operator. Now let me go ahead and let me add one more document. Okay, here let's change the name. Let's say John Smith. And now I'm going to add one more hobby here. So let me add it as the first element. And here let's also say sports. Let's copy this document. Let's say db.employees.insert1, and to this let's paste the document and let's press enter. So that document has been inserted. Now let's again search for all the employees where the hobbies array contains cooking and music. And if you see, I'm also using this $all operator. So now if I press enter, it should return us 3 documents, because in all the 3 documents we have these 2 elements. So the all operator is going to check for the elements which we have specified here in the array field. If that array field contain all the elements specified here, it is going to filter that document. It does not matter what is the order of these elements in those arrays, or if those arrays contains some other elements as well. I hope this all operator is clear to you. All right, so in this lecture, we talked about 2 array operators, all and size. In the next lecture, let's talk about this element match operator. This is all from this lecture. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.